What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do something a little bit different, and hopefully it's a little bit of fun. I've always talked about what baits you should be throwing in the month's top baits. You guys, if you watch that video, it's one of the more popular videos that we do on the channel. It's describing what you should throw in those months. We are in the month of July, so I thought it would be a little bit of fun if we just went to a new area on a lake that I fish a little bit, but just a new area of the lake. Just try to figure these fish out with the baits that I tell you guys to fish. So now we only have 2 hours to find these fish and sort of figure out what the pattern might be in this particular area of the lake. This is sort of the river run area. So you have the river, you have some creeks in this area. And then of course, from the baits perspective, if you have not watched that video, we'll link that video in the description below. So if you're trying to understand what is top baits of the month, we'll have that. So from the baits that we have up here, we have a wacky worm, we have a bronco bug, we have a square bill, it's a big rocco, chatterbait, 10-inch worm, a frog, urchin, and then I added a claptail just because that's, claptail 110 is a bait that I throw a lot this time of year. I did not add that on top baits. It's basically any time in the summertime I have that on. I just didn't want to, I've had it in the last couple of top baits, and I didn't want to be like a broken record for you guys. So I try to switch that up a little bit. So that's what we got on the front deck. Let's go out here and figure out what is going on. Let's see here. I'm gonna put you guys, sort of lock you in there. Boom. There we go. Let me pick this trolling motor up. Turn him on. All right. Now, first things first, I'm actually going to show you guys. I got him.
Unlock it. Here, hold on.
Sorry. I'll unlock him real quick. I want to show him this. All right, so first things first. I don't know if I should just do it like that.
No,
you got it, okay. Okay, so first things first, this is the area that we're going to be fishing. Just basically this whole zone right here. I just don't really fish in this zone much, so we're gonna go spend 2 hours in that. So you can see there's a lot of a river portions of the main river, and then you got 2 big giant creeks. So should have some bass around. We're gonna start in the creeks, and then we're gonna maybe transition to the river if we can't figure it out in the creeks. Sorry, so I just wanted to show that.
Oh, you're good.
So people have a little bit of an idea of what's going on. So, since it is the dog days of summer, we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start by real quick here, just idling. Mouth of a creek, you would say, okay, hey, they're starving for current, just to make sure there might not be a group of fish in the mouth of the main creek, right? So we're gonna have to idle through this anyway, because it's a little bit shallower of a creek, and then we'll pop out and see what this creek looks like. And basically this is like the first 10 minutes we'll analyze the water right off the bit. This is the main portion of the river, so you got undercut banks. I can instantly tell, like, hey, I'm gonna look at that. So I got some stuff with a bronco bug and a frog for sure. We're pulling up here just to idle this guy in the mouth of this creek arm. There's laydowns, of course, so like flipping could be a good way to catch some bass, like flipping and pitching, which is great for this time of year no matter what. Like, these fish will start to transition, and these fish are going to be a little bit shallower. If I was on the lower end of the lake, this might be a little bit different pattern. Not, you know, I might be doing something a little different, but I figured this is sort of like what you're going to want to see. You're going to want to see me figure it out real time, rather than just, you got to see a lot of times an edited deal. There's something like right there. I'm actually going to mark this, a little bit of some brush. So I'm gonna mark that real quick here, and then we're gonna transition into the creek. So if we come back out, we'll just hit that brush pile, or looks like a little stop. We might hit that guy right there. So let's go ahead and take off and see what this creek looks like. So we just popped into this creek right here, and you can sort of tell, like, it's a lot bigger than what it looks like in that little portion of the river section, right? So you got that right there. I think what we're gonna do is down here towards the bottom end right here, sort of narrows down, and it has two entrances. So like in my mind, like where I wanna look at is a place that, like, there should be a natural flow of current that goes out into back to the river. Now there's not much current running right now because it is the middle of the summer, but if there is a little bit of flow, it sort of breathes, right? So you have, and both of these creeks that we're gonna fish today would have an entry and an exit point. So there's not just one single, I guess, stream or like entrance and exit. So you have sort of opportunity for water to come in and out. So I think that that's something that would be a good area where if there is a little bit of current, it would probably be in the areas that have like it sort of necks down. Like sort of like you would have a neck down in the river, you're doing basically a neck down in the creek where that's gonna have the most flow, if you will. And that would, I would assume that would be where they would wanna be. So we'll just start on this left side because there's some docks over here and go from there. Like I think that's a good deal. I'm idling right now. Of course you guys can tell probably a little bit. I'm just idling just to make sure there's not a whole bunch. I mean, we're only in 2.5 feet of water, but I am idling to look and make sure there's not a group of fish out here because you never know. But we'll start shallow right here on the stretch of dock. I'll probably start on that dock and head this way just because why not? Now what would I throw right here? That's gonna be the dilemma. Like the sun's sort of popping out, it's sort of going in, like in and out, like there's a chance of like rain. Water clarity is probably a foot of visibility, so it's a little bit more stained. We'll start on this one and head that way. If we get bit, we might slide down those docks too. I mean, that might be a good pattern. Okay. Turn this guy on. Okay, so probably the only thing I did change from Top Baits is I got a free rig with the 10-inch worm, and then I put a Texas rig with the Bronco bug, like that guy right there. So I just pegged, so it's a 1/2 ounce weight. So I'm gonna start with the Bronco just because, I mean, obviously I have a lot of, I have a lot of confidence in a Bronco bug. And so we'll just sort of pitch around real quick here to see if we get a bite. Right quick here, and because it's pegged, I can pitch this up underneath the docks a little bit easier. So as we sort of go down through here, I'm trying to determine, I won't forget about these walkways either. A lot of times guys will obviously focus on walkways when they're spawning, and that is a good thing to do, but I feel like walkways are forgotten about. Ooh, I hit the dock. And the post spawn as well. And what'll happen is like the bluegill will start to spawn on the walkways. So, not a bite. Okay. Just give them a little chance. It is cloudy. Sort of combination of both. I'm excited because, like, for me, I don't get to go fishing and just go, like, typically when I'm out, I'm testing baits, trying to get the new Crush City shapes right, or I'm practicing for a tournament. And so very seldom do you guys get to see, like, going through the, ooh, you can see how bad a pitching I'm making. Going through, bite, first bite of the day, baby. Yeah, all right. So there we go, first bite. We're gonna drop the power poles down. Not a huge one, but a Bronco bug bass he was way up underneath that dock. Made a bad cast first. He's not the biggest one, come on, bro. Stop it, please. But you can see how that 4-aught hook has got him in the snout right there. That is awesome because That's a really big deal if you are throwing the Bronco bug. I always recommend throwing a 4-aught. That's a VMC Redline right there. It's got a good barb to it, which is another important part of that. But that hook has enough gap to support that bait. If you go to a 3-aught, a lot of times you could miss those fish just because you have to get through the plastic. So not a great big one, but the first bite. It didn't take this too long. First dock, first bite. So we might have something going on here, but as my buddy BJ used to say, in Wallman, one's a fluke, two's a pattern. So don't jump on the bandwagon too quick because we're not real sure. But I mean, obviously I like that. So picking up a green pumpkin, traditional, that was actually Tilapia Magic right there that I was throwing. I throw that a lot this time of year in the sun. Actually, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice that I did a little reel the other day. We talked about how like in the sun, it just does better, like a Tilapia Magic or a green pumpkin Magic, if you will. It just does really well. It just looks a lot like a bluegill or anything else. All right, ready to go. 1/2 ounce weight, pegged, 4-aught BMC, and we're back at it. So now I'm gonna obviously make another cast in there. Now that I got a bite. So these are the pole docks, and these pole docks have a little bit different deal than like what you would have with floating docks. Water's definitely up. You can tell like it's high, not high, but it's like the lake was down low back like earlier this spring. I know there's a lot of people that have actually also mentioned in the top baits of the month that I did not know that Falls and Jordan were down like 722 feet. So, not that far, but like it's way down. Nick looked at me like, what? 722 feet? But I mean, like it's like 6 feet down. So all the places that I told you all the fish were probably out of the water. All right, we're gonna continue to go down through here, looking. Not like overly. And I'm not gonna take this kind of time, like we're going down through here trying to catch what we can, but I'm not even normally gonna take this amount of time when I'm trying to figure a deal out, but we just got a bite. So since we got a bite on that first dock, I'm like, let's just make sure. If we get on a good bite, and a chatterbait could be, because it is cloudy right now, a chatterbait really could be a good deal. That fish was on the end, which is a good thing to know. I don't normally always like pitch every little deal, but I'm like just sort of taking my time. We'll go down through here. I figured there had to have been a bite somewhere. I didn't know if it was gonna be in the first dot, but what's our time check, Nick? How far are we in this deal?
We are 15 minutes in on the dock.
Only caught one bass, 15 minutes, but we have only been fishing for like probably like 6 or 8 minutes. So
I was just saying, I would probably count that to like 10 minutes. The cameras say 15. So that 5 minutes of talking and then getting the fishing.
Okay. Well, so I gotta keep it, I gotta know because it's like a period but less. And I wanna make sure that I stay on top of it. I'm gonna have to dang hurry it up. If we're gonna do some things, I'm gonna have to like limit us time-wise to like 30 minutes. doing a certain pattern or fishing a certain way. They should be one right there. You'll notice I'm actually like rushing, not rushing, but like I'm going faster than I normally would, so like my pitches aren't perfect, and so I don't want to look like a goober just like hitting stuff. But when I'm looking for stuff, I'm not really like, if I'm in a tournament and I know there's fish there, or like I have a little better understanding and practice, a lot of times I'm making really bad casts because I'm just like trying to get it there quickly. Not like always bad, but like I'm trying to rush. One. Nick, can you grab that? It's Alicia. Just ask her and make sure she's good. You're good. Hey. Yes, yes. Oh, sorry, I'm just in the live fishing right now, so everybody on YouTube, I'm fishing live. What's the live fishing? Okay. I love you, bye. So I have her in the middle of getting a flight, so she's still doing her thing. She's got 7,000 things going on, but she had a flight I wanted her to grab. Dang! Ooh. I don't know. I thought that was a bite, but I got it in between the jet ski ramp. Come on, you sucker. Of course. Okay. Not a bite on that one. Okay. Well, I've been flipping, so let's go ahead and just pick up this chatterbait real quick, because that was another bait. I have a little green pumpkin chatterbait, 3/8. While we're going in between some of these docks, we got to cover some water a little bit. These next two docks, gotta have them. And they might be like down through there a little bit, you never know. There's some little like a old tree or two here. I like these docks. These are the easiest ones to cast underneath, but I can probably just cast a chatterbait on this dock right here. The being a little bit. I'll pick up a dang Bronco since we caught one on him. I sort of want to keep that going. We got a 2 o'clock potential rainstorm coming in here. All right. Yeah, what I was saying was, you don't have to lock into like make the best cast when you're practicing. Like, I mean, I'm not saying, but like in a tournament, I'm really precise. But like, I've caught a lot of bass on bad casts. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not the end of the world. The biggest key is you're trying to find them. So like in this scenario, I am sort of fishing a little slower than I would in practice, but that sucker looked good right there. This dock is actually surprising me. We had a bite. I mean, I could flip docks the whole time if I had to, probably, and get some bites. But I'd like to keep it moving. There's enough stuff happening with a little bit of cloud cover and sun, and dude, I'm surprised. A lot of times these fish will sit on the outsides of these posts, especially in the summertime. With the water being up a smidge, that's why I sort of thought it might be in the backs. But that fish, that one fish, we're only in 1.5 feet of water, so. You notice I'm very impatient right now, guys. Like impatient meaning like popping my stuff around pretty fast. I got a 1/2 ounce weight. I'm covering water. Water's hot, 90 degrees. Trying to get these fish to sort of bite, get them going. Had the first bite of the day already. You son of a gun. Clap tail right there on this lay down, and a little rainstorm coming through would be good. Probably get a bite or two. The other thing I don't like is I got a 3/8 on right now on that chatterbait, and he's just a little slow. Like when, especially in this scenario where I'm trying to cover water, I'd much rather have one that I'm a 1/2. 3/8 is good when you're trying to get up there super shallow, I guess, but not always the deal. All right, we got one. Not the biggest.
Good hooks up though.
Yeah, that sucker was, he had me, dang. He had me. I was thinking he was gonna be a good one. I mean, I was like, oh shoot, there he is. That fish was literally on that end of that dock. There's a little post right there, and he was on that one, so. Pretty good, pretty good. Now, another thing is, I was talking to people about this too. The hotter it is, the more your plastics rip up. So, just a heads up. So, I've, a lot of times, a Bronco Bug is not probably the bait that's the most durable anyway, but it gets bites. The reason it's not as durable is because the amount of salt that I had to put in this bait to get it to do what it does. Like without that, you wouldn't have the action it has. So like if I didn't have that much salt in there, then it wouldn't have that undulating action. The shape would just do blah. Like it would just basically sort of dart around. So, but that also being said, it's less durable when it's in the sun a lot, or it's hot outside. Your plastic heats up, which tears easier, and that's sort of just the general rule of thumb. So I remember a buddy of mine, actually AJ and I were talking about this at Heavy Hitters a couple years ago. He was having problems with the fish ripping a lot of his trailers off his chatterbait. I said, dude, I don't get it. And we were talking about it, and it's like, you know, it's just about the fact that it's so much hotter than normal. It's like 95 degrees out, like not a stitch of wind. It was different. So we've got 2 bites. I might even like trying to, those fish have not given me a for sure idea of what's going on. Huh. I thought there had been more bites on those 4 docks. So I had 2 bites, but not like over the top. Okay, no bite there. Let's go ahead and pick up a square bill. I feel like lay down a little square bill right here. Lay down a little place where you could just crank that guy through there. Ooh, that's what it felt right. It's not like a real lay down, it's more bushy, so. I will crank dock sometimes. That was sort of a pattern back in the day. Used to be, a lot of guys used to do is cranking around boat docks. But that was like, I think Ott won, he won on, where did he win at? Harris-Chain. He was cranking an OG. Around boat docks. I think it was more of a shad spawn thing. We'll just do that real quick. This is obviously some stuff that people threw in from manicuring their yard and can be sometimes a good deal. Typically I like bigger profile pieces of wood. Like the bigger the base, typically it's a little better. But like where I'm doing it right now, this is more like target casting, which is great for that OG Rocco, especially this big one. He's super buoyant. Should have been a bite right there. When you're cranking wood specifically, like your actual retrieve changes quite a bit. There's a guy that's been fishing out through here throwing a frog. Got hung up, and pretty tough to throw a frog and get hung up. This guy had a bad gig right there. Okay, so, oh, there's a little bluegill that followed me up. As I go down through here, there's some real shallow riprap right here. It's not like I could catch them square bill, and it's sort of like on a borderline of square bill and then just throwing a topwater up there on the seawall. Okay, so now technically we're in what you would call, I like the topwater better. I'm always more apt to throw a topwater if I can, and I want to try to catch a big one. I don't know if even big ones live here. That's why I wanted to do this. It's like, hey, it's more fun to get you guys in on this, because I'm literally going to a new body of water basically at this point, like in fishing stuff that I'm not normally. I think it's pretty shallow right here. I'm hung up on something. Come on, biggin'. All right, so I just skipped the frog on the back side of that, and then to do that shade. So give you guys a little play-by-plays, because I felt like that was a higher percentage deal. This would be like a little bit deeper right here, probably flipping. A little bit better chance of, I gotta get further back in there. A lot of times if I don't get to the post, like a little closer to the post, I'll make that pitch again, because I just don't feel like I got it perfectly. That's shallow enough, I probably could catch them on like a chatterbait or something like that, but. And the cleaner the water, the more important. I'd probably even throw a 3/8 as shallow as this is. The shallower the water, or the cleaner the water, the more that they won't necessarily like just sit on the post itself. They'll sit in the shade a little bit more, because they can see. It's like almost like a security thing, I feel like, when they can see the post. And they'll come from further away. But the dirtier the water, typically what'll happen is they will sit on the post exactly where it's at. and they'll lock in on that post. So if you miss it by a little, like, then they don't see your lure, right? Their strike zone's a lot smaller, so. Now you'd still be surprised at how far bass can see in stained water like this. Okay, that's a perfect place for where a frog would be at right there. Little overhanging bank. Oh, that frog looks good. Little frog. Come on back there. So I'm way up underneath that undercut. It's not really undercut, I don't feel like, but there's a good amount of shade. No bite. Let me skip right there. Nope. How much are we at, Nick?
We are at 32 minutes.
Oh my gosh, so we have probably like 5 more minutes on these docks and we gotta roll. We're not doing it much longer. I want to know, because I'm like, I don't want to get you guys. So what we'll do is we'll fish this dock, we'll fish that next dock, then we'll transition over there, sort of run that more natural bank over there. Looks like there's potentially some good places to throw a frog or even flip real shallow. Make sure there's not a, you would think as big as this dock is, dang, I'm backlashed. As big as this dock is, you would think they would be on it. 2 bites. 2 bites. Flipping a Bronco in 30 minutes. Now the rods, I'm flipping with a 7.6 heavy. Nothing, this is sort of like the perfect little all-around like offshore rod, 7.6 heavy 2.0. Also, let me know, guys, as you sort of go on this, let me know, like, if you'd rather see some content where I'm like dialed in, or do you want to see this sort of live figuring it out? Sort of like you guys get to see it all. So let me know. I'm all about that. That kind of vibe right there. Clap tail. Suckers. Okay. Last dot. Unless we catch a 5-pounder off or catch a bass off him. And I still want to slide over there and hit that. Looks good. Hit that little strip right there. I'm sort of feeling like there should be a bite or two. And sort of next down, we can hit some more of those docks if we have to. But I want to frog that stretch. Frog, maybe flip a couple of them little banks right there. As you can tell, I'm not wasting time now. I'm getting a little bit more like antsy and trying to get the bite. Because I'm not as sure, like after that first bite, you slow down a little bit because you're like, hey, is there gonna be a couple of them in here? And then you transition, you're like, I'm not so sure. All right, last one here. Little isolated little island right there. Let's do that. It's only like 3 foot deep right here, so. All right, let's keep moving. Keep moving, like keep moving, keep moving. I'm gonna grab a little bit of water. Yep, there's a nice and cold one. That Yeti backpack's awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Like it's just nice for like the pontoon and everything. It's really good for that.
Oh, that's really nice.
Perfect little setup.
Perfect boat setup.
All right, and we're back. I'm making sure there's not some out here on some stupid stuff here. That's nothing. That's just like the motor locking from the gear perspective.
Oh, I thought it was tapping bottom.
No. It's just the motor locks in. So like sometimes that the Suzuki, like what it'll do is like once it's stopped, like it goes into gear and then you go back, shift it out. It just sort of takes a second for it to lock back into place. Okay, there's a lot of bait around. I'm looking forward. I'm trying not to use 4 guys. Like I just feel like, I'm not saying that we can't, but it's more so just fun to go fish. I mean, the reason I decided to go into an area, I felt like that was more of a shallow water prone deal. So you guys could apply more to more people, right? I mean, we're shallow right here. Tell there's a little bit of water there. It's not too bad. Fishing that clap tail up there. Let me get to some reeds, probably pick up the frog. I love this stuff, man. This is basically what you guys get to see from the perspective of like in the cup events a lot of times and what they used to be. And they still sort of are with the team series now that we have 2 guys in the boat. That sucker, sort of popping him out of there and walking him a little bit. Swim jig would be good right here too. He just might not be there though. Be shot. This is like the one time of year that they will be just absolutely so shallow. Just because I feel like overall, like the bait's shallower. Like in the wintertime, you don't go down the dock and see like bait fish on the backside of the dock. You see like they're typically out there a little bit deeper and there's just more things for them to eat. Shallow bugs and bluegills are shallower. The forage is more so that way. And so you'll get in like in these scenarios specifically, like now this guy. No dice. All right, Mr. Frog. What are we gonna do? I do like this, like, when you hear about the willows, that's a willow right there. That's a willow tree. A lot of times, like, you see that on, like, Grand Lake, you got to see a lot of, like, the willow trees. Ooh. Got a little lighter. I was wondering.
Is that like what you guys call water willow?
No, that's like a willow tree. So water willow is like actually like river grass, like which there is some here in this area. I gotta keep moving. But like there's actually some like you know, like the stalky stuff where like the river, like in the rivers, like green, it's like stalks.
Yeah, not grassy,
Like it's like they only get, I'm trying to think of like the places probably the most well known for it. I would say like Dardanelle's the one that's really well known for like what you would call river grass. It's actually called willow weed, I think is the actual term, but like a lot of rivers have it, and it grows in like the inside bends. Like where I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, the smallmouth that actually spawn on the inside bends of the river around the river grass and around May, and so whenever the current got to where they could get to where they could spawn, and so that was like they would spawn on the inside bend because of course there's less current. All right, not getting a bite on frogs. Where are you at now? Time check?
Yeah, 42 minutes.
Okay, so we'll go down through here. What I'll do is we'll fish this for a second. If we don't get a bite, I'm waiting for one of them like 4 or 5 pounders to bite it. Exactly, like just a perfect scenario. But I've never really fished in this area, so like I'm like, well, I'm assuming there's some bass to be had. But also like with the World Bass Enterprises, that Champions tournament going on, like I want to play around with stuff like you know, it's fun to sort of get locked in shallow a little bit and tinkering, and I probably could have flipped that low key and caught one. I'm being not like lazy, but a little bit. I would say I'm being a little lazy. Being a little lazy on that guy. Okay. That's not the deal. I'm gonna pick up that clap tail and parallel this stuff, because I feel like I can, if they're up there, especially on this corner, I need a dang. If it's way up in there, probably not going to catch them like that, but dang, there should have been one right there. I mean, there still probably is. I'll probably put a frog and go. I think he might be up in that right there. That's like what you would call like a little cave, like a little cut in deal. A lot of times that's what I call it, a cave. Ooh, it is shallow. It's just a smidge shallow. Like even though like they just might not want to be there. Like obviously these fish have shown they've wanted to be on the end of both the bites I've had on the docks have been on the ends. So they're preferring, even though the water's up a little bit, they're preferring a little bit of water. Now this is a little different because it is, oh, it looks so good down through there. If we don't get a bite down these, I gotta frog this. There's a big one up there. It's a little shallower right there. What I'm gonna do though, while we're right here, I'm gonna pick this guy up because there's basically a point that runs out right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and crank out here on this flat a little bit. There might be a little bit of rock or wood out here. Again, because this is where it's necking down, I can't really tell. Not really on the map I can tell there's like just looks like a little shallower bar. Not saying that they'll be there, but it's about 4 or 5 feet deep, so it's a little, 5's probably just a smidge deep for that Rocco. But pick it up real quick, just crank. A lot of times it's like, ooh, it felt a little hard right there. That's where that harder bar is at. Like, so you can find those places a lot of times by just fishing. Like Eden, this is the perfect scenario of like sort of what I was doing at Grand. There's a lot more current, there's a lot more fish that were shallower, and there's places when you get a lot of junk fish around, it's harder to see them, like graph them. So a lot of times I'll pick that up and go, dang, I don't know which way I want to go. I don't know if I want to go out there, I want to go over there. All right, I'm gonna hit this dock real quick. Hit this dock, hit that, some docks are good. I'll hit that little stretch of docks and I'll slide over, hit those, and then that one dock looks awfully good though. Okay, so far we've had bites on dock so far. A dock, but it's not been the best quality. Stump right there. There we go. Oh, sorry, buddy. Come here. There you go. About a 13.5 incher right there on the outside post. So that was good to see. I did just see like a stump on 4s. I might pick that. Go ahead and pick up another Bronco. Put him on there. Now, trick is, if you wanted to try that, you can put these in your soft plastics in your cooler if you wanted to cool them down a little bit, and you can actually get a little bit sometimes. I'm not gonna say always, but it does helps the few casts, less ripping it out. Because obviously, once it hits the water, it'll start to get the temperature. But the worst place to put them is right there, because it's baked in the sun. Hypothetically speaking, the best place to put them would be, it's actually a deeper dock right here. Here's why. This is actually a good stretch. He was out there on the very end, which is interesting. See, it's a little steeper right here. I'm gonna go pitch out there and what I'm gonna do is real quick here, because I ran over those couple stumps and a little bit of brush. I'm gonna hit this dock right here because it's sort of the start of it. I've had 3 bites on it. Only have a little bit of time, so little pieces of wood. Ooh, there's a stump right there. There's some more stumps right here. Let's try to go ahead and see if that looks right. Let's go ahead and pick up a little bit of an urchin. So I'm just picking this guy up right now. Looks like there's a whole bunch, maybe like some crappie on it. Can't really for sure tell. I'll sink it down there a little bit. See if one's there. A little bit of rain. Must not be bass. So, pick this guy up. I'm gonna sort of pop it around some isolated cover. Make sure there's not anything out here. Haven't even had something follow it out. A little bit of rain. Welcome to it. Give a couple more casts right here because I'd like to know. I mean, there's a lot of times you're gonna have like certain places that have like a lot of trash fish around. So figured why not try it. Dang, man. This one right here is straight up starting to, oh heck, might as well throw him on here, guys. Might as well throw him on here just real quick. It's a little bit of a rain cloud. Go ahead. Yep. Here you are. You're fine. Yeah. Good. All right, now this is what you call a bite window. Potentially. Still gonna back up a little bit because there's some like, looks like maybe some brush or something like I just not seen. I'm not gonna do this for long, guys. If I had, like, but I do want to know because I told you guys to throw this thing, and I just want to make sure there's not like it's a good. It would be what I would do if I was just checking, like, oh, there's a little bit of brush. Let me see if they're on isolated cover really good, and if they're not, that's fine. But I would much rather try it right now than completely ignore it and then all of a sudden, bam, you could have caught two really big ones or something like that, right? So try it, pitch it around. I've not had a single fish raise, so that probably is telling me it's probably not happening, which is fine, at least on that stretch. And of course there's bass in isolated cover, it's just how it is. It's the nature of the beast. So let's go back and on the same dang deal. Some bass right there. So obviously that piece of cover, if you guys can look behind us, It's real broad right here and it narrows down, like I talked about that narrowing down. So that's probably the primary place where a lot of these fish will set at, because it's not a big one, but that is a primary place where some fish should sit at. And I just panned underneath there and there's a little bit of brush underneath there too. Now I pitched out there on the outside edge, but there is a little bit of brush. So we'll go ahead and put a 4/0 hook back in there. What's crazy is like I just panned over there after I pitched, because I'm like, I wonder if there's like something there that's holding these fish. And I pitched on the exact same deal. Probably could, there's probably more of them there than I think. I couldn't even see it. Probably just already made them a bunch of named crappie or something underneath there. But it just shows you right there, like a good piece of cover, a good dock holds them. It's a primary piece is a lot of times what they're on. Like, I'll check on it. It's like 5 foot deep on the end. Some of the deeper water with cover on it. I do not like the lighting perspective. Thunder. Not seen any. Some rumblings. Definitely want to be on the outside stuff. Technically, this is a great topwater time, which I do think those little islands out there would probably have one on them. So I made that cast 3 times so I could have this exact angles or everything. A lot of times in a place like this, the water's a little steep right there. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it's okay. Angles are everything. Going down these places like this right here is just where there should be a bite. Now, we've not caught a quality fish yet, which is weird. Like, there's some just fish, you know. Dude, this is like top water, like frogging, flipping. Frog in like summertime, you ask for like weather like this. Other than like this, of course, the little bit of rumblings, but it, you son of a gun. Oh, I have this dang brakes on. That's what, like, I do not have it on easy mode. Had it on easy mode. I'm not really. Okay, we'll hit this. And then I should have actually messed that up, guys. Because technically per our pattern, there should be one right there. I messed that up a little bit too fast. That's the scenario I messed up. Per our pattern, they're on the outside of these docks. Now, I will also say this, as I'm sort of figuring this out in 2 hours, I will also say that I've learned a lot in my career just fishing down places and forcing myself to fish what's in front of me. Now, obviously right here, I'm sort of selecting sort of stretch, like right here looks good, that looks good. But I've learned places that I would not have normally fished earlier in my career by just going down there. It's like a lot of times in practice, I'll actually go down a stretch and force myself to fish where even I might, oh, well, that's gonna be the best deal. I'll be like, well, all of a sudden you find out like the pockets are better. And that's the way you figure it out a little bit more. So to me, it's like, that's when you figure out little things that we of course think are happening versus what actually is happening. There should have been one right there. No, this is not a dock scenario. Little rumblings, a little bit of rain. I'm gonna pitch this. We're gonna slide out to that island. We're gonna hit these 2 or 3 little stretches of some grass. And we're gonna skedaddle. I don't mind that right there. There's a place where some stairs sort of came down right there, so I wanted to make sure I could catch some down that dock, but it's too time consuming. So there's obviously some bass on docks. I'm gonna sort of transition now to doing something different because I don't know what that is. I'm gonna frog right now. We're gonna frog this little stretch. It looks good. There's some like looks like willow weed right there. Frog, flip. The biggest thing with like a lot of this vegetation this time of year is there's not normally like a lot of water on them. Like there's not a ton of water on these places. So you got to figure out, like there might be a little stretch that has a foot of water and then another stretch that has 6 inches of water on it. And it's really just a subtle little amount of difference between what they really get on. It might be the fact that better quality fish are more main channel, or it's just like, again, like it's a big area. There could be something that I'm not thinking about, right? I can tell this water's pretty low. Or like it's not low, it's just, there's not a lot of water on that. Should be interesting. I've not had a bite yet doing it, so we're not gonna force it, but if there were a place for them to sort of set up, that's actually not a good cast, but a lot of times I'll rush through areas like this to determine if maybe not fish them as thoroughly as I might, because again, I feel like I'm trying to determine if there's bass on this stuff or not, right? That is what you would call more willow weed. Like they're more, it's typically like a little thicker, Nick.
Oh, okay.
But like that's sort of what you would call willow weed. Yeah. Sort of like stockier, a little, it's normally like a little taller. Yeah, it's normally like the better areas, like thicker. Lay Lake's another place that would have a lot of it. Like it's the older, like it has quite a bit, or has had in the past. The Coosa has quite a bit of what it would be like willow weed. So right now we're just bobbing a frog. We're trying to get a reaction strike and seeing if there's bass even utilizing this kind of stuff. And if they're not, it's okay, but we don't want to waste the rest of our time fishing this stuff and then not get a bite at all, right? I can see some willow weed on that flat since that water was down so low. A lot of it could have grown up. It's weird. If there was gonna be one, he'd be on that stuff. All right, we're gonna hit that dot, that dot, that dot, that dot. Those two islands are rolling. So not the greatest, but we got some bites. I'm not really seeing like anything that and it might just be the fact that I picked the wrong zone. Let's pick up a dang big worm just in case, see if, I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go ahead, pick up flipping stick. A little bit of rain never hurt nobody, especially when it's been 100 degrees outside. See, that's a good like piece of wood up there. It's really hot. It's like a little bit thicker, a little shallower right here. Definitely more time consuming pitching. Ladders are another really good thing. We have not got bit on a ladder yet either. Like when you're looking at docks, you're looking at regularities. Right now, especially with it being cloudy, I could see them, they've already been on the outside post. Other than the one fish we caught further up in. I'm gonna make a pitch right there, just down that post, to make sure I'm not missing something. Well, well, well. What do we have here? There's a little guy. But not a bad. We got a bite. Okay. Silver quality has not really been on it. I've not been super pumped about the quality. But we've caught a few fish. It's not like you hadn't got some bites, but dog days of summer should be That was the first bite I had really shallower up on it, but that was also like isolated. It was more like a jet ski ramp, and it was small. So I don't put a lot of weight into that fish, because if that was a 4-pounder, I'm like, like why is he up there? But now, like, you can see most of all my bites have come on the fall, which they're gonna have to catch it pretty quick if the way I'm fishing. I mean, I'm hopping them around though. You see, like, I'm hopping around for a reason. Like, I'm really pushing that thing and pitching around. Like, because what I'm doing is I'm like, even if I like that cast right there is a perfect example. I sort of pitched it on the back side of the other one, and I'm sort of popping it around like above, trying to get him up towards where maybe that fish was sitting at, right? Like, that's what I'm doing. Okay. No, it's fine. I think it'd be fine. Yeah, it's not really raining that bad too. Right now. All right, last little deal, Mister. Mister. I bent that hook, I guess. Okay. Put that guy down for a second. That's the one thing that you'll notice. I have been going a little fast on all this stuff. Not like crazy fast, but I'm trying to cover water. All right, man, I'm leaving. I'm shocked by the island, the little island thing. Like, I'm really shocked. Now, that's sort of would be like what I would consider textbook in this zone. Shallow. Shallow water. Put it out there, right there. Now that is like what you would call, I think this is a perfect example of what I would consider like a great little buzz bait, flipping, square bill, like log. He's up on a flat. He's out off it. You can sort of, if you guys can see the log, it's probably a little ways for y'all to see right now, but we're gonna get up on it here in a second. There's 2 islands here with probably less than a foot of water on them. So if the water were up, maybe, you know, there'd be some stuff there, but there's a log up there, laid like a log right there, and there's a log right here. And so I'll put a clap tail on him. Probably a buzz bait would be another good option right now. I sort of threw it a little bit too, got a little impatient there. That's not like the money cast right there, but there actually should be a couple fish right here because it is an isolated log. Typically I'll cast past them. Got like a piece of the lay down right there that's coming out of the water, and I'll cast down through there. There's an osprey. Okay. That's a dang good little stretch right there. I should be able to call him out on that. I mean, for him not to eat that. Perudo. Perudo. I mean, he's not super tight to it, to be fair. Like, I'm not like got him like crazy tight, but dude, a little bit of like misty rain afternoon deal. Like, come on, bruh. Like, y'all can just go ahead and, like, he should be on the end of that log right there. So I'll throw that over there. Then I'll make another cast. Dang, it is shallow. I mean, worst comes to worst on something like this, you just pick up a dang Bronco and pitch it to the best part of it and call it good, because he could be in the heart of it. But like a little bit later, probably in August, I'm gonna crank that. Like if you had a little branch, it's only in like a foot of water right here, so like just in case he didn't want to come up on something. Blows my mind. I took y'all to the Dead Sea. Literally took y'all to the Dead Sea. I'm gonna pick it up there just because, I mean, like end of a deal like that should have one, but that's rotten. I mean, I guess like a little square bill, like on a straight log like that, I'm not as much on the square bill bag, but like on a log like that that has a lot of branches, that's when I'm picking up the square bill. Like a straight log, I can do it, but I don't necessarily have to. And then that inside island is definitely too shallow to catch one, probably. I will pick up that. How much time we have?
You 416 we're at right now.
Ooh. All right, we got some work to do then. So we haven't left this creek, but I can see the main lake right here just behind, or just ahead of us. So we're gonna go ahead and fish this, because I did talk about crankbait. That's BS. I mean, I'm sure there is. Like, I'm surprised he didn't bite that claptail with that little mist of rain. Is what I'm actually sort of surprised on. Like, now he might be like a little tighter. Gosh, dog it. Okay, so I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna pick this up. I'm hung up on the line that I'm hung up on. So guys, we've officially done it. Yeah, that was actually garbage. Like, to not get a bite right there. Now I'm hung on the line. This is why you don't be doing that. Okay. That's the perfect, God, it's perfect, dude. Like, I messed it up if I would have known. Dude, I'm a little bit off of it. I can tell, I'm like, I can do this, but I don't want to have to. There you go. Yep, that's how you do break a tip. So just a heads up, you chip your tips like that. But if you're trying to get a $10 crankbait or a $10 tip, you got one that you really like, you can do that. You're not trying to, the problem is you don't do that sometimes, you put a dang $500 scratch in your boat. So that's another option. So you're like, all right, if you have some extra tips, wouldn't be a bad idea to carry a few. That's why if you don't do that, you don't have extra tips, don't do that.
That's your tip.
Yep, that is the tip of this video.
Carry extra tips.
Carry extra tips and you'll be a lot better off if you're gonna fish like that. Dogs, the problem is there's so much stuff that looks. I don't know what you think. That guy was on there. Here. Pop him on there real quick. We'll be good. Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, I forgot it was on that dang jacket. Garbage. Should be pretty decent. I do not know why. I want to catch one on a frog so bad. And it's just the fact that there was not much water on it. But like, if there was a time, maybe the osprey ate them all. There is an osprey nest right there, like right next to the osprey nest. Got him, guys. Frogging, choked it. The osprey left this one. Thank you, Mr. Osprey. So frogging, we forced it. Was it a 10-pounder? No. Was it a 2-pounder? No. But was it a bass? Yes. Well, I ran down that whole sucker. If I didn't get I mean, I wouldn't call that calling it. That would be like, I can't believe it. But I'm really actually disappointed, like just the overall quality. You'd think shallow water, there'd be a few more solid fish in this. Now we've gotten several bites, and I'm not like mad about that, but it's just like, like why is there not a couple other better than average fish, right? And I think that's just sometimes nature of the beast. Like, I mean, I guess 2 hours, what we call it, like, yeah, so like we caught like 6 on a 2 hour time, then we're on 6 fish. We still have probably 30 minutes left. I did have a minnow too in there, but I didn't figure I'd throw it up here that much. Little guy. He bit it. Dude, what the heck? Like, those should be like 2.5, 3 pounders. I mean, come on, man. Maybe the better average fish are on the main lake right now. Let's go ahead. Give him a chance right there. Okay. All right, let's roll. So we did have a couple bites. Ooh, about to throw that. Did not mean to throw that rod down. Had a couple bites, no big ones. Had 7 bites so far. Golly. Got a wallet that's wet that I did not put away. I forgot about that one. I was like, oh.
Oh, so I didn't even see it.
I know, you're fine. I just didn't even, I forgot about it. So we had 7 bites, no big ones. Quality fish is what we're lacking for sure. I'm gonna idle a little bit. Just idle down through here. Make sure I don't see anything crazy. Look like maybe something there. Probably not. No. I got excited for nothing. So what I'm gonna do in this last little bit, I think we're gonna head towards the main a little bit more, and what I'm gonna actually do, get on a little edge, see if I can't find a little bit of brush or something. I think that would be a better move for a bigger quality fish. At least try, I'll grab for a second, see if I can see some. See here. So what I'm going to do is we'll just idle down through here a little bit. See if I can find something. So basically right now I'm just idling down what you would call like a typical main river ledge, right? This doesn't look like there's that much hard bottom. This is not a typical deal that I would assume that like they're gonna be on like loaded. It's actually a shallower place, like 5, 6, 7 feet. So we'll just idle down through here, get an idea. There's a couple more, now we're at the main river, right? So you got buoys, you got more main channel currents. A lot of these fish could be on this main channel current. And what I'm gonna do is just see if there's anything down here, if there's some brush. Because I mean, I'm not sure that there's gonna be like loaded like group of fish, but maybe there's a little bit of a brush pile that you throw up, you know, that urchin on, or you know, just stuff like that. Like to me, this is good opportunity to sort of go ahead and do this because, hey, we got to find a big one. And you never know, like, to me, like, this is probably the better way to find a big fish, right? Or two. I've not seen a single bit of like brush though, which is sort of like I mean, I see a little bit of like some hard, very little hard bottom too, actually, which is even worse. It's like, dang, like there's a little ditch that's not on the map right there. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in these bass. Okay. A little hard bottom though. I do like that. There's a little bit of hard bottom right there. Last of it. Well, we tried. We're not gonna waste the last bit of this just idling for no reason. So we'll idle this to the end of this little corner, sort of the mouth of the major creek. There's nothing here, there's no brush. We'll skedaddle and we'll head on. And there's a little bit of like some stuff right there. Let's just do, that look like maybe like just a tiny bit of stop or something like that. So let's just go ahead and let me go ahead and make a cast right there. Okay? I mean, why not? We did that for a reason. We had a quarter mile to find one little stop that might or might not have a bass on it. So let's just go ahead. White bass on it. Definitely white bass. Got a bite. All right. Spot. Look at that. Got us one, guys. There's a white bass and a little spotted bass. Mr. Spotted Bass, what are you doing up there? Keep it going. See if we get another one in there. It could be a little pot, a little spotted, but I think they would have bit it already though. I think the white bass got him excited and he come out of nowhere and land and ate it. I was like, when that fish like actually had it, I was like, wait, what is that? Oh, there was a bigger one down there that saw it, I think. Yeah, it's not. Okay. Come on, rain. All right, guys, we have officially. Gotta give this a little bit more right here. So like this kind of stuff is just, what we're doing right now is just trying to fish the isolated cover that's right here. Oh, there's a fish. Spot, we'll lay it. I know, I was like, I thought they were bass, and I think they might have been like little bass. So, nothing crazy, but at least we did see some. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see where that... All right. Well, that was not... Come on, rain. All right, so we got this one on an urchin, little spotted bass, nothing crazy. Let's keep moving. Keep moving, keep looking, keep hunting, keep pecking, all that good stuff. That was cool though. Like, hey, we got a bite, nothing crazy, but we did get a bite, so I'm not complaining at all. It's just now we got some rain to deal with. All right, so what we're gonna do here, so we've got bit on urchin, flipping, frogging. Thinking we could try slide over here. Let's stop right over here real quick. Let's stop on this edge right here. This is what I would call more of like an undercut bank. A little bit of rain, but this is exactly what you'd call like more log. We've obviously got bit on docks. So we'll just sort of go down through here. This is what I would call more of an undercut bank. This would be good frogging, this would be good flipping. We'll give them a chance. This is sort of like a log jam. I wouldn't call it a big log jam, but it is one. Come on, rain. It's not really undercut, I'll tell you that. I'm just sort of playing with it right here. Can tell it's definitely not undercut. All right, we're gonna go ahead. Come on, wind. Don't love it. Don't love it. Sheesh. So what we're doing right down through, there's a lot of wood down through that you can't see, that you just barely see under the water. So let's continue to give it a chance. This is promising. This is what you call sort of like a log jam, right? It sort of blends in. This is sort of like basically what we were doing on the dock. Like it extends out further. You got more cover that extends out further in deeper water. Right there is a shallower bank. This should have a fish. Like down through there, it was sort of shallow. I could tell by pitching around. He wasn't really way far out there on that. Pitching this in there. At least it's raining on us. At least give us a bite. How much time we got, Nick? We got to end this thing with a bang.
20 minutes.
20 minutes to catch a good one. 20 minutes. I feel like I can catch one off these islands. It's more Main Lake, Main River, islands. Let's get this figured out here. Come. Oh, if the wind would stop blowing for little guy. Little guy. He was not a big one. But that's exactly where they've been. Like from the cover standpoint, they've been on the ends of stuff. Like they haven't been, other than that one fish that was way back in on the dock. They've been on the wood, they've been on docks, which is a lot of the same. I mean, it's not like the exact same. Obviously, natural wood's different than a dock post. But dang, man. There's gotta be a bite around here somewhere. Flipping, urchins, frogging. Why, come on, bass. Bite me, Mr. Bass. I got a feeling like, and it might be just the fact that I'm just trying to fish the conditions more, that like you should be able to get a bite on a frog or a claptail on these islands. Like it's got a little bit of river weed. It's either a frog. Like if there's gonna be a time they slide up there and they're like, oh yeah, I'll slide up there in 2 foot of water. I know it's not what technically fits the pattern. It might be just me and like my own, what I love to do, which is also true. But if they would do that, they do the dang thing, I'd really appreciate it. The thing is, it's interesting is there is a little bit of wood way up in there. This is beautiful. Dude, you sorry suckers. Ooh. Okay, so perfect example right here. It's twitching into a claptail because it's more open. Like that other deal right there, we were fishing, we were specific casting. This is more like open casting over this stuff. Y'all are playing around. Nick is definitely not a big fan of the Claptails hooks. He's staying as far back as he can, which is smart. If I can let him just jump out there. So funny, not funny. Funny now, not the coolest in the moment. So first day of practice, Potomac River, last year, about this time of year. I mean, the sun's just coming up over the treetops.
If you remember correctly, we weren't even going to fish that spot to start. We said, I'm going to just run back here and we'll see if we can get a topwater bite real quick and then we'll run out.
True. I'm like, heck with it. I'm going to fish this. So I go to this spot, make a real quick cast or two, don't get a bite, go to the next little corner. Nick's up there, I go cast, and I didn't realize, like, I get in tournament mode. Like, I've only hooked 2 people in my life. My dad, when I was 14 years old, and Nick. That's it. And you know what's funny? It's both been, but, so anyway, so Nick gets 2 hooks, and there was no line trick getting this one out. So there's 2 hooks right in his jaw, basically, underneath his jaw. And so we went to the emergency room. They didn't know what to do because, like, to be honest with you, like doctors and hooks don't mix. Like, you're better off most of the time just probably doing it yourself in the moment, as long as you're not around something crazy like that you could really mess up, right? So since it was in his neck, I was like, yeah, or like under his chin, like yeah, let's just go ahead and just err on the side of caution. So quite a bit of time, finally ended up getting it out. But so that's why Nick's in the back of the boat as far as he can be. like he's out there like, yeah, I'm good. Cause low-key I'd have some PTSD about that shit too. I'm not blaming him. So claptail, no bite. You gonna bite it? Goosh. No. Okay, then don't. We still have to get one big one. Like, I'm trying to change it up for y'all. One big one, more Main River. We only had one bite on the main, and he was not the biggest. Now this area is not really well known for catching tons of big fish, but I figured it'd be, gotta have some 2.5 pounders biting, but it is starting to get tough. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's starting to get tough, but they should be, if there was gonna be a moment they decided to bite, a big one or two, wanted to decide to bite for us, I was hoping it would be now. I mean, they got some good little, like, no. The only other thing we could do is go over there before time expired and fish a Main River dock and see if the quality was better on the main channel on a dock than maybe in a creek. And I could see that being it. If I didn't like this, how much time we got? I keep on.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. I could run around, but I really didn't like the creek side of it. Or I could run up and fish more isolated cover, which that could be the way to go. I mean, with the conditions right now, top water in these conditions, like cloudy, they should bite pretty good. Shallow water should be good with the conditions. Well. I don't really like it, and it's not been the pattern, so we've been forcing this all day already. I've already fished the main river stuff. I don't like that. Okay, so if we aren't gonna do that, and we're not gonna force something, what are we gonna do? Let me think here real quick. Let's look at the old map. Let me just idle down through here again real quick, just see if we can't find one more isolated piece of cover, and we'll talk about, like, I mean, realistically right now, what I'm looking at, you know, if we can't find it down through here, we'll end up go ahead and go fish these docks. But I mean, it's not been obviously like super guns blazing bass fishing, dog days of summer, out here on you know, the river, messing around, creeks, backwaters, undercut banks. I feel like a lot of people in the country have this type of lake in their backyard. So, and that's why I felt like, hey, let's try to make this work and figure this out, because I felt like, hey, if we do get on something, this could apply. I know I could apply it in Indiana. I know I could apply it here in Tennessee. And about everywhere you go, you got a lot of the same cover types, undercut banks, whether you're in Mississippi, Louisiana, there's really a lot of the same kinds of cover, right? And so when you go in like river types of lakes, or like up the rivers areas, like there's always a place like this up in an area of your lake. So now I might not go there right now. No, I'm just kidding. It actually probably would be good. I don't know. Might be better than this. And this pattern still is, like right here, this is a great example. Like we're coming up here, I'm idling down this stretch, this little main river like break, and there's a dock right here. And it's the first dock that sticks out the farthest. So it's sort of the same pattern that we just had, but this is the dock that comes out the farthest. So we'll pick up old trusty little, still not like completely dialed in on this guy. I can catch a few bass on him. He's all right. There's times when he's unbelievable, and there's times I'm like, you're throwing this thing for no reason. And I don't like the fact of like the efficiency side of it. Like if I'm throwing this thing because I guess for the whole time you're efficient, but outside of that, you're not. Like, I mean, you can pitch them around. I've not thrown a dock with the old Coik. Can't even see it right now. There it is. I see it. No bites. Nope. No bites. Okay. So it's really the first dock that I actually used forward on. Looks like there could be something on this front end of this dock right here. We'll try it. No. Whatever. Okay. Mr. Huh. We got to get one good one. Pick this sucker up. Picked the wrong area. I thought maybe for sure we'd get him. But like, to be honest with you, there is a lot of learning opportunity. I think that's the biggest thing is like, of course I want to catch a whole bunch of bass for you guys. I want to reel them in fast. I want to do all that stuff. But the best learning opportunities are in these moments when you guys sort of see, okay, oh, hey, Jacob doesn't catch them all the time either, or doesn't dial in all the time. Now, I do feel like we got a little bit dialed in on like what type of cover they're on a little bit. Now, can I throw like I probably just throw a Bronco bug up there and catch these same bass if they're here. But I'm just trying something different just cause. Why not? I definitely think you get in the right area. You catch them on this guy. I don't even think this is necessarily, I'm just throwing it just because I want to see. Not because, and just because I haven't really thrown him, and I said to throw him a little bit. So I'm like, well, now there's gonna be a whole bunch of these at iCast. Rapless coming out with the brand new CEO, which of course I have some, but I'm waiting right now to throw this because I don't have enough of them for tournaments. There's something that's unique about it I really like. We'll talk about it at iCast, but a little bit, they all have their advantages, but I'm still learning. I feel like early on, it seems like there'll be plenty of them to choose from, that's for sure. I did not design this one, so this is gonna be I'll talk about it a little bit more, but come on, fish. No bites, huh? Well, didn't get a bite, so that's not good. How much time we got? I'm trying to like make sure I catch one.
We got 5 minutes.
Gosh. Okay. That was not it. Huh. I'm surprised we did not get a bite on that dock. Brush on that dock, everything looked good. This dock looks pretty solid, but we're switching back to a Bronco because I would much rather go ahead and pitch him up there and watch pick up 7-pounder.
So perfect.
I love when they just doop. Ooh, hello, mister. I'm pretty sure I could have caught one on the last one just pitching a Bronco, but I tried to force it because it's the trend. Gotta hop on the bandwagon. Sometimes I feel like there's sometimes you can do that, and there is definitely a time and place. Do not get me wrong. Sometimes you can mess yourself up by trying to make something work that you don't have confidence in as a, like under every scenario. Like I like, fishing on isolated cover out offshore, it's obviously good. That kind of stuff's good, but this stuff right now, when you got 2 hours efficiency wise, that 1/2 ounce weight with a Bronco, I'd much rather pitch this guy around. And sometimes that's the way to go. And sometimes not. In 2 hours though. Unfamiliar waters. Dang, I would've got robbed right there. That hook came out. Come on, buddy. Give me a big one. I like them cross members. There should be one in there. And no bite. There is something about like flipping a 1/2 ounce weight or like 3/8 or whatever and pitching out there, or the jig or Bronca or whatever, and you pick up and you're just going shh. You can see your line like that. Oh, you sucker. That was dang not a bass. That was the end of the law. That was the end of that dang. I felt like it. I talked myself into it. I was like, it's gonna be like this. And so then when I felt it, anything heavy, like when you pop it, you're like, oh, that's gotta be one. And it sort of must have gotten one of them little creases of that guy, and I was fully sold. I was fully engaged on cracking that dang stairs. Huh. No dice. Now, that was him. Had to be. Sucker. How much time?
30 seconds.
Gosh, gotta catch one. It's the last dock. Big last tip. Square, if I'm really like trying to catch one, like I want to square my body up, like focus, and like you see squared him up a little bit where your hook sets, you get all like messed up on your angles and stuff. You're asking for it. You're gonna get a halfway decent hook set and lose him. Dang, man. Well, we have officially last pitch. I'm gonna call it right here. Me, 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 me.
Lines out.
Lines out. That's it, guys. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this one. We took some of the baits that we were talking about in top baits. Obviously could not throw them all, couldn't get bit on them all right now in 2 hours on a unknown area of the lake that I'm fishing right now that I kind of just don't fish all the time. Let me know how you guys like this format. It's just something that, like, if I get time, drop the boat in, go for a couple hours. I try to go, I felt like going to different areas because I feel like I get an opportunity to learn, and then you guys get an opportunity to learn how you're processing information. So let me know what your thoughts are. Didn't catch any great big ones today, but caught a few fish, got dialed in on a little bit of a pattern on the outside edge of those docks. They were definitely on the docks or ends of the poles. And then, you know, got a few bites on a frog. Maybe didn't get the super dialed in. I don't know, I might have probably pushed a little further back in some of those creeks maybe. It would have been one thing. Then maybe ran a little bit more of this main river. It's probably the two things I would have done differently. But that's why you call it fishing. You can't go catch them all every single time. That's why I actually like weekend tournaments or weeknight tournaments, because you have a limited amount of time to catch the fish and you got to make decisions fast. So it helps me sort of get a little bit more on top of it all. Well, appreciate you all. We are going to check back later soon, or check back real soon, and let me know how you guys like this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then drop a comment down below. Let me know how you like it. We will see you on the next one.